And big breaking news coming in, a huge booster coming in to Indo-Canada ties, given the statement coming in from Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. He has hailed the partnership with India, calling India a major economic partner, also saying that India's collaboration with Canada is key for mutual economic growth. Listen in.
First is we are in the role, Canada is in the role of the G7 chair, and in those discussions, as agreed with our G7 colleagues, include important discussions on energy security, on digital future, critical minerals, amongst others, and partnerships actually in building infrastructure in the emerging and developing world. There are certain countries that should be at the table for those discussions, and in my capacity as G7 chair, consultation with others, some others, make those determinations. India, the fifth largest economy in the world, effectively the most populous country in the world, central to a number of those supply chains, at the heart of a number of those supply chains, so it makes sense. And in addition, bilaterally, we have now agreed, importantly, to continued law enforcement dialogue. So there's been some progress on that recognizes issues of accountability. I extended the invitation to Prime Minister Modi in that context, and he has accepted.
And Siddhant continues to be with us on the broadcast. So Siddhant, this is a huge booster when it comes to bilateral ties between India and Canada, and that agenda being set by Mark Carney over there, saying that despite the legal hurdles, despite the investigations, economic collaboration is the need of the hour, and that must continue on the same track. So when it comes to India's diplomatic standing with Canada, this is a huge revival.
Well, that's right, Ayushman. In fact, even in the run-up to the elections, he did a very positive signaling. He called relationship with India incredibly important, and he gave signals that he's ready to do trade with India. In fact, Ayushman, his priority is Canada's economy. Perhaps that is what the Canadians have voted him to office for. So there is definitely not going to be any compromise as far as the economy of Canada is concerned. So how to revive it? Now, to revive the economy, to put the economy back on track, he needs countries like India and China. So yesterday he spoke to Premier of China, in fact, regarding the trade between the two countries and the fentanyl issue. Today he speaks to Prime Minister Modi. In fact, Prime Minister Modi has also been invited for the G7 summit. Prime Minister Modi confirmed on X that he will be attending the summit. So he is more pragmatic, more realistic, and somebody who is on a mission to put the economy of Canada back on track. He is not ready to take any pressure from the K groups. Ayushman, when Anita Anand spoke to EM S. Jaishankar at that time, K groups trolled Anita Anand heavily. In fact, right after Prime Minister Modi announced that he had a conversation with Prime Minister Carney, Khalistani groups got activated, and in fact they started trolling and reminding the government of major killing, etc., etc. This current Canada government's position is very clear, Ayushman, that there is definitely going to be the dialogue on law enforcement and security,
right.
But the trade, commerce is something which is very important, and perhaps is a strong pillar as far as India-Canada relationship is concerned. So Prime Minister Modi's the invite to Prime Minister Modi have been extended. In fact, in months to come, I could also expect both sides to reinstate high commissioners,
right,
and can get back to the normal business.
Right. Thanks, Siddhant, for getting us that big piece of news that's coming in. So a massive reset in India-Canada ties. And my colleague Siddhant also spoke to former Canadian Minister Ujjal Dosanjh when it comes to this reboot that's taking place as Canada extends that invitation to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who will attend the G7 summit between June 15th and 17th in Canada.
Prime Minister Modi has confirmed that he will be participating in a G7 summit. In fact, he received a call from Prime Minister Mark Carney. How do you look at this development, especially given the diplomatic standoff which was started by Justin Trudeau, and perhaps for last 1.5 years, there has been a new diplomatic low between the two countries?
Well, if if it's true, I would say it's good news both for Canada and India. And I think it's important that the two countries reset the relationship and let the other issues be dealt with by the courts and the like. Obviously, they are before the courts. Okay. And I believe that Justin Trudeau had irrationally acted when he stood in the House of Commons and made a statement. If he had allowed the Niger matter to be dealt with by the courts and by the newspapers, obviously the country has to be concerned about allegations that another country engineered an assassination on its soil. But I believe that, and there are many in Canada that feel the same, that Mr. Trudeau mishandled the situation. That's why the relationship deteriorated to the extent that he did. And if Prime Minister Carney calling Mr. Modi to come to Canada, I think that's a wonderful development both for India and Canada and the Indian diaspora in Canada, because it's important for us to be able to go back and forth and continue our relationship with the country that we left behind. And I think it's a good thing for the world, because India, is a major player in international relations and has attended G7 for the last several years. And if Mr. Modi hadn't been invited to this one, it would have been an aberration that might have had consequences that are not too good for Canada or India. And I think it's important. It's an important development.
Network 18 is now the clear leader in digital media, with 55% more users on native platforms and social media than Times Internet. Network 18, the undisputed leader of news networks, way ahead of the times.